Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. I am Maha Shirazi and today I am going to give you a lecture on the topic of how robot works. This is your chapter number 1 and assignment number 3 of grade number 6, and there are some guidelines that you need to follow to complete your assignment. Attempt the assignments on the separate sheet. Draw the margin lines of about ½ inch on both sides of the sheet. Write your name, RCN, grade, section, campus, assignment number and subject, and then start the written assignment, and maintain a file of assignment to be submitted when school reopens, and give at least 30 minutes per day to this assignment so you can easily finish it on time. Now we are going to read from page 10 to 13 from your computer book Computing. Now, and you have to solve the following activities. Activity 1 and 2 is given. We are going to discuss it at the end of this lecture. Okay, the topic is how robot works. In this lesson, you will learn how a robot uses sensors, a controller and actuators to do its work. What makes a robot works? You must balance a tennis ball on a book and walk across the room without dropping the ball. How do you do this? As you cross the room, you use your senses to warn you what the ball is starting to roll. When the ball is starting to roll, your brain works out how to stop the ball from falling, and your brain tells you muscles how to move your arm to stop the ball rolling. A robot works in a same way. A robot has sensors that act like your eyes and ears, and they tell the robot what is happening in the world around it. A controller is a brain of robot. Actuators are the muscles of robot. They makes the robot move. Sensors. A robot does not have eyes and ears like humans. It uses components like sensors. Video cameras give the robot sight. Proximity sensors tells the robot how close an object is. Bumpers tells the robot it has collided with something. Pressure sensors lets a robot know that is touching something, and sensors that detect chemicals give a robot its sense of smell and taste. A robot uses a sensor it is need to do its job. Now we talk about the controller. A controller is the brain of robot. The controller is programmed to do a job. A robot cannot think like a human. It carries out whatever instruction is given to it. Okay, now we talk about actuators. A robot does not have muscles and bones like humans. It uses mechanical parts to lift and move objects, and the mechanical parts that make a robot move are called the actuators, and the actuators in a robot do the same job as the muscles in your arm. Now the question is how the robot vacuum cleaner works. A robot vacuum cleaner helps to clean a house. A motor is the only extra mechanical part that a robot vacuum cleaner has compared to a normal cleaner, and the motor moves the cleaner around the home on a wheels. Proximity sensors measure a room so that the cleaner can calculate the best route to take, and proximity sensor use a light beam to calculate the distance. When the light beam hits something solid, it bounces back to the sensor, and the time it takes to bounce back tells the sensor how far the light traveled. A sensor called a bumper detects if the cleaner hits a wall, a piece of furniture. If a cleaner detects a collision, it follows an algorithm. The cleaner makes a small turn and tries to move again. Once it finds a clear path, it continues cleaning. The cleaner has a vibration sensor on the base. If a lot of dirt hits the sensor, the vibration it causes tells the cleaner that the area needs more cleaning. A sensor warns the cleaner if the battery power is low. The cleaner finds an electrical charging unit using proximity sensor, and the cleaner recharges its batteries before continuing cleaning. Now there is an activity. Give 2 examples of the sensor a robot vacuum cleaner uses, and how are the sensor used. So we have discussed different sensors that are used in robot, so just write those names and write their functions. Now there is a think again dialog box, that what is actuator and why does a robot need actuators. We have already discussed that actuators are basically the muscles and the bones of robot, because robot don't have muscles and bones, so they act like bones and muscles. Now the extra challenge is how you see a barista in a coffee shop. A barista is the person who makes the cup of coffee. Could a robot be made that works as a barista? Describe how sensors and actuators might be used by a remote barista. So you need to find it out that whether can you use a robot instead of a person. So its answer is basically yes. So you just need to find out that how robots are used in different countries, like very intelligent countries like Japan. They uses robots in place of people in coffee shops and restaurants to do the service. Now the next topic is what is control system. So in this lesson you will learn what control systems are used for and what our control loop does. What is a control loop? If you have heating system in your home, you may have seen a controller like this, and a heating controller lets you set an ideal temperature for your home. Suppose your ideal temperature is 20 degrees Celsius. When the heating is switched on, the controller sends a message to turn on the radiators. So the message passes through a temperature sensor. The sensor sends a message back to controller telling it's the actual temperature in the house. And when the temperature reaches 20 degrees, the controller turns off the radiators and the temperature sensor keeps sending messages back to the controller, and when the temperature falls below 20, the radiations are turned back on. So this is basically a control loop. It's sometimes called feedback loop. The sensor feeds back information to the controller. As you see, set desired temperature. It enters into controller, turning heating on or off. Then there is a switch present. You can turn it on, you can turn it off. Then there is a heater present, house kept at correct temperature, and then there is a feedback loop. What is the house temperature? If it is 20 degrees centigrade, the controller turns off. If it's below 20 degrees centigrade, the radiations are turned back on. Now come towards the next topic, that is control system in the home. Control systems are installed in many homes. They control temperature, lighting, and security. Modern homes may have many sensor installs. Heating systems use temperature sensors. Alarm systems use proximity sensors. Pressure pads to detect intruders. Security systems use video cameras. Lighting systems use proximity sensors to detect movement. Now light can be turned on automatically when a sensor detects something entering a room, and they are turned off again when the sensor detects the room is unused. Heating can be kept at a lower level when the house is empty and warmer when the people are in it. The controller is connected to the internet, so the house owner can control systems from anywhere. Heating can be turned on so the house is warm when people arrive home. Devices such as ovens can be turned on so food is cooked when people arrive from the home from work. Messages are sent to the homeowner if an intruder is detected. Security cameras can be viewed on a smartphone, and the homeowner can even view the contents of the fridge to find out what they need to buy from the supermarket. A house with control system called a smart home, and control system make life easier, secure, and reduce energy use. Now there is an activity. You are traveling home in your robot car with your parents. What messages can you send to your smart home so that it's welcoming you when you arrive? So what type of message? This is basically your activity. You need to write that, but I will give you a little bit of help, that you can send message to the oven that cook the food for us. You can send message to the AC that just keep the temperature down, and you can turn the fans on, you can turn the TVs on, you can turn the geysers on. It's all your choice, whatever thing you want to turn on if it is electrically connected with your robot car. Now think again, dialog box. A feedback loop can be used to control air conditioning to keep a home at low temperature. So draw the feedback loop or control loop for this process. You need to draw a feedback loop to control the air temperature. You need to make a feedback to control air conditioning. Now there is an extra challenge. Use your program design skills to write an algorithm. An algorithm should be describe how a heating controller keeps the temperature in the house at 18 degrees Celsius. Now we talk about our activity. We have do the reading from page 10 to 13, and number 1 activity is make a list of the main parts that a robot uses. So you have to make a list of the part that robot uses. Give 2 examples of the sensors a robot vacuum cleaner uses. How are the sensors used? So you have to give the 2 examples of sensors. We have already discussed it in our lecture. And how are these sensors used? And you have to write their usage. Now the activity 2 is a feedback loop. So you have to create a feedback loop that can be used to control the air conditioning to keep your home at low temperature. So you have to make the feedback loop, and as it is shown in the page number 12. So this was all about today's lecture. I hope it will be easy for you to complete your assignment and do it on time. And stay safe. Take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.